Hey guys, how you doing? I'm Kent Tilley with K4 Financial, and it has been a little bit over 6 years since I started this company and 11 years since I've been in this business. And I wanted to do a video talking about 6 of the things that I've learned in my 6 years in business. I've obviously learned a few more things than 6, maybe 7 or 8. But I just want to cover off, 6 ones that I think sort of will ring true for the most people. No particular order with these. And the first one I want to talk about is, generally speaking, money habits remain. And what I mean by that is, people that make a low income but are good with money, have a budget, are saving, on a weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly basis, will continue to do so no matter how much their money they make, where their career takes them. But people that find themselves in, a debt trap or are not saving come to believe that one day they will earn their way out of it. And generally speaking, all you do when you make more money in that case is actually spend more money. So, there are 2 sort of sides of that coin. There are some people that actually, save too much money and have way too much, entering into retirement and are never going to spend it and become really uncomfortable with the idea of, drawing down their investments and never really get to benefit from all of their hard work. So that is somewhat problematic, but the more problematic scenario is somebody that just continues to spend, continues to build up that debt no matter how much money they make. I literally have seen people that make several hundred thousands of dollars a year who have 0 assets, with the exception of maybe a little bit of equity in their home. And that can be really problematic because it's impossible to keep your lifestyle without working, or if there's a dip in, the economy, it's hard to continue to make that much money over time. So if you are one of those people that thinks that you're going to earn your way out of this, it generally does not happen, and you need to change your ways. Something that I sort of talk about all the time is, even though I've never talked about this on video, but I think about this all the time, is that, your money is sort of like your health and working out. So, some people are lucky, they have good metabolisms, they can eat whatever they want, they can keep looking healthy, but over time, as you get older, if you're not paying attention to it, you start sort of falling down this way. There are other people like me that just continue to say, yes, next year I'm really going to work on getting in shape or whatever, and then the years keep passing, and as each year keeps passing, then, it becomes harder and harder to actually get back into that shape that you once were. And then there are other people that really work really hard their whole lives since the beginning, keeping active, working out, eating correctly, and working harder as they age. And those people, generally speaking, are going to be better off than everybody else. But it's never too late to get in better physical shape or financial shape. You might not be perfect, but there's something there. Number 2, rich is relative. And what I mean by this is a question that I like to ask people all the time is I say, let me just ask you how much money you would want every month after tax if you could live the exact lifestyle that you would want with no limits. And that number varies for every single person that I ask. And I have gotten numbers in between $5,000 a month, which I believe is low. I mean, you can't do a whole heck of a lot off of $5,000 a month, but if you don't have any bills and your mortgage is paid off, $5,000 a month after tax can allow you to do quite a few things, go out and eat and do a bunch of things with your friends and travel a bit. And the highest number that I've ever heard, which kind of blew my mind, was $40,000 a month. Keep in mind, this person, last I saw on Instagram, was on a private jet and spent New Year's Eve on a yacht. So yes, that would be pretty expensive. But even in that case, and me thinking about it, $40,000 a month is a crazy amount of money after tax to try and spend, but is still less than $800,000 a year in income. So that is very rich, but in the general scheme of things, that person's not even really that rich compared to a lot of these, 100 millionaires and billionaires of the world that are the truly wealthy people. So I think rich is you have enough money to pay for the exact lifestyle you want, plus the ability to save on top of that. And that number is going to be different for every single person. That's why an individualized retirement and financial plan is important. Number 3 is I am still scared of market corrections. And don't get me wrong, I understand that they are coming. And one of the first things that I learned when I was going through the initial courses to become a financial advisor was we look at something called an index chart, and it shows, how the market goes up, and it'll show like the US market, the Canadian market, your typical, growth mutual fund, your typical moderate mutual fund, gold, all of these other things. And if you watch it, no matter what over time, always, the index always wins long term. And when I saw that, I had texted my friend who is a CFA, which means that he has the ability to manage mutual funds and pension funds and other things. And I said, well, why wouldn't I just, pick stocks and copy the index? And he just typed back to me and said, exactly. So when I'm looking at a correction, I'm not necessarily scared or wanting to change what I want to do with investing, which would just be to invest in equities and keep them long term. I know that I'm young. I know that it's going to rebound. I know that I want to keep buying. I know that, companies are going to make money over time. However, corrections scare me because I am in the business of trying to help people with their money. And money, more than anything, is an emotionally charged sort of topic of conversation, and investing is and can be very scary, even if you are in, quote unquote, safe investments. So I am always nervous about these corrections because I know that I have to try and convince people not to make mistakes. And I also know that it is impossible for me to know what is going to happen with the market in the short term. So that's why I'm still afraid of corrections. We shouldn't be afraid of corrections as far as our long-term goals are concerned, but in the short term, they still bother me, and I know that they still bother every other advisor that I know, even if they're pretending that they don't. Number 4, a very important one, and something that I've learned an awful lot about since I started this company, but didn't talk about a whole bunch when I was at my previous firm, is the real true importance of CPP, OAS, and GIS in someone's financial plan. Once you start adding these up, putting them in with other assets, figuring out the proper timing, all of these other things, it is, the baseline of everybody's retirement plan, and it is so important and so huge. And a lot of people really don't understand how these 3 Canadian pension plans come into play. And they do make an absolutely gigantic difference as far as one's, full-on retirement plan is. So they have become something that has been a primary focus of ours when having conversations with retirees and people close to retirement. Which then leads me to number 5 is, I have figured out that people traditionally need a heck of a lot less money to retire than they were once led to believe. If you ask the general person, how much money do you think you need to retire? Probably everybody would say, in excess of $1 million, which is far from the case. I have clients that have very successful retirements with way less money because it is properly structured, and once again, rich is relative. So this totally depends on your money habits, and basically everybody with decent money habits can actually achieve a successful retirement. However, if you have a spending problem, a debt problem, whatever, yes, you are going to need way more money to retire than you probably think. But if you're good with money, it's not nearly as expensive as sort of the media has led us to believe. And now on to number 6, which I think is perfect for me, which I'm going to call slow and steady doesn't win the race, but slow and steady does very well in the race. I've always had a pretty good relationship with this saying because, as you can tell from me, I don't exactly work at the quickest pace. I'm working slow and steady. What is supposed to happen with financial planning is that it is supposed to be boring. Investing is supposed to be boring. And I have seen firsthand with my own clients or people that have come to me later and watched what they have done. And generally speaking, the wealthiest clients that I know have done it very slowly over time. Nobody has just jumped up and made that really quick money and then made it actually last. So slow and steady with investing, with contributing, with earning more money, with advancing your career, with advancing your business is the way that most people create actual good levels of wealth comparatively to other people. Most businesses take time. Building that portfolio takes time. Getting that first sort of 100,000 is very difficult to do. But once it starts snowballing on itself, then it becomes this great thing, and it does take time. You are not going to be a billionaire doing it like this, but it's not like Warren Buffett made all of his money in the very beginning. He's been doing this for 65 or 70 years, and his slow and steady strategy has basically won him the race. So don't try and chase that quick wealth because it's fleeting, it's not real, making money is hard. So I would stick to that sort of moniker and say, just keep to the plan, keep doing the right things, and you will be better off than the majority of other people. You might not get gold, but you'll actually, at least get a good participation ribbon. All right, that's 6. Thank you very much. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. Feel free to send comments or whatever. And you know what? You. Yeah.